our goal must be to persuade others and to convince others and to change people's minds. And in order to do that, you need to get them to sort of step away from what they're thinking and give them some pointers. Teach them what the left really believes, because most people hear the slogans of the left. The left is very good at sloganeering pro-choice, and I think it should be between a woman and her doctor. I mean, these are phrases that are very easy for a person to latch onto and agree with. I mean, I'm pro-choice, not in terms of killing babies, but I am in favor of choice, and I am also in favor of getting the government out of things, and I am in favor of decisions being between a woman and her doctor. So yeah, those are all inoffensive mottos that are used to justify the pro-abortion stance. But Carly, I'm trying to find a few more little quotes from there. Carly makes the point to help people understand. Do you know that the Democrat position is about any abortion, any time, at any point in a woman's pregnancy? Are you aware of that? Are you aware that they want all of those to be paid for by taxpayers? I mean, do you agree with that? And she outlines these things, and she presents the Democrat case as being extremely radical, and then she just says, do you agree with that? Giving the person a moment to pause and wonder, that's really kind of crazy. Do I agree with that? And before the person can say, oh, possibly, yeah, I do agree with that, she interrupts with, no, of course you don't. And that's kind of filling in the blank and being persuasive, leading them to know that no rational person would agree with this Democrat position, because it is so radical and crazy. And so you, the person that I'm talking to, who once thought yourself pro-choice, once I explain to you what the Democrat position really is, you can't agree with that, because their real position is so very radical. It's very persuasive. The couple of minutes that she took to, I don't know, role play a conversation. It's great listening, and I posted it at the Conservative Union, and it's on YouTube. Daily Signal, it has an article about it and the link to the video. It really is awesome. Did anybody else have other thoughts on that?
Who would have thought, coming out of an election cycle like 2012, where we had Todd Akin and Richard Murdoch, that we would turn weakness to strength the way that we have. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that abortion is a really strong topic for us going into the 2016 election. And if we actually make Hillary Clinton, or whoever the Democrat candidate's going to be, it's going to be Hillary Clinton. If we actually make Hillary Clinton stand up for the Democrat position, what's in the actual Democrat platform about late-term abortions, taking rare out of the platform for safe, legal, rare. They took the rare part out in 2012. If we actually make them, talk about the stuff that they actually are proposing, especially on an issue like this where it's visceral. If you're talking about this stuff, it is really, really difficult to envision a 7-pound baby getting killed like that and have anything other than revulsion. I mean, if we can actually do this as a team, that's incredible to me.
I think that the strongest point that Leslie was making too was that it's a teachable moment, and that when our candidates are saying things properly and articulating really well, not only should we praise them for that, we should learn from that. We should take those notes. We should begin to incorporate that language. It doesn't matter if you support Carly Fiorina or some other candidate. You can use this. And just like Rand was talking last week about, did you ask Debbie Wasserman Schultz this kind of question? Those tactics, regardless of who you support, we can pick up, and we need to pick up. We need to memorize things like her statement. The policy has been succinctly summarized by Democrats, such as Barbara Boxer, as it isn't a life until it leaves the hospital. And then she says, as Leslie was saying, do you agree with that? Nobody agrees with that. And so using that opportunity to pick up a new angle there, I think conservatives across the board can learn to speak better about it and take what we like and what it works from each candidate.
That's really true. And the way that Carly spoke about it in the video, you really have to watch it to see she's calm and compassionate and caring. That's the kind of person you can have a one-on-one discussion with, and that kind of discussion is the kind of discussion that can persuade and change people's minds. And the tactic, the conversational tricks and tactics that she used right there of, asking, did you know that you have to go through a lot more rules and regulations to open a tattoo parlor than to open an abortion clinic? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with the fact that a 13-year-old needs to have parental permission to pierce her ears but doesn't have to have parental permission to get an abortion? Do you agree with that? And then she tosses out, and she basically replaces the leftist slogan of pro-choice and between a woman and a doctor. She very much states the what Barbara Boxer had said with the it's not a life until it leaves a hospital. She put that in there as the tactic was to take the leftist slogan that's effective, which is the pro-choice stuff, and replace it with a bad slogan of it's not a life until it leaves the hospital. And that's really that's a subtle conversational trick that she did, and you have to really be listening carefully to see how she did it and to learn from it and try to use that kind of thinking yourself. But she took a successful slogan that the left uses, softened up her conversation partner with some questions, and then she threw out the replacement slogan for the left, it's not a life until it leaves the hospital, so that possibly this person that she's having a conversation with, when they go away, their memory of what the leftist position on abortion is has been replaced with the phrase, it's not a life till it leaves the hospital. And that's what they're going to remember when they think about Democrats and abortion. It's not alive till it leaves the hospital. And that was a really powerful technique of how to replace an effective slogan with a bad one, which I thought was really great.
And, live by the soundbite, die by the soundbite.
Right.
So her succinct encapsulation of their position using one of the quotes from their own people, it's just doubly delicious.
And then to close it with, do you agree with this? Of course you don't. Nobody does. That pulls the person over to your side. All just by soft language. You have asked them, and then you're realizing that they would agree with you. You're kind of forcing the issue because you're saying nobody would agree with that. And because people are joiners and we all want to be accepted by the powerful leader that we're talking to, or be accepted by the person we're talking to so they don't kill us. I mean, it's just part of a social animal thing. Nobody would agree with that. You and I have been bonding here over the last 2 minutes of this conversation. Do you agree with that? No, nobody does. Of course you don't. You're smart. You don't agree with the Democrats anymore. If you do it right, you've just converted somebody. But those are style and those are conversational tactics that she's clearly brilliant with.
Well, and look at the reverse, what the left is doing with pro-choice and between a woman and her doctor. They're misstating the position. So correct. Carly has actually reframed it accurately and said exactly what they stand for, instead of letting them hide behind these other words. So it's not twisting their words. It's putting their own words back in there and making it absolutely true, saying exactly what it is.
Right.
But, as you said, in a calm way. It's not a twisting. I like that it is called a tactic and a trick, but I want to be very clear that the trick is telling the truth in a brief, succinct, and powerful way.
Exactly. That's what's so brilliant about it. And that's what we tend to forget about the conservative messaging in all topics is the way that we win and the way that we convince is by stripping away the deceptive messaging of the left and replacing it with true, honest facts.
Everything is going to be handled the same way. And so I want every one of them to go back to that and look at that case again, regardless of their stance on legalization of marijuana for any reason. They need to be supporting the family and standing against the government abuse of the children and turning them into informants and snitches and weaponizing children against their parents.